Okay, so the way you read this notation, you've never seen anything like this. The way you read it is G, this one here, G composed of H of X. That's how it's read. G composed of H of X. That parentheses is not a multiplication. Really common mistake that people think it might be multiplication. It's G composed of H of X. So when we do these composition functions, we go from the inside out. I'll show you an application at the end with inverse functions. There's a ton of applications in calculus. Ton. So we start with the inside out. H of X is X cubed plus 3. So we are finding G of X cubed plus 3. So all I did, H of X is X cubed plus 3, substituted that for the H of X. So now what I want to do is in the G function, which is 4x minus 2, I want to put the X cubed plus 3 in place of the X. So I take I take 4 times X, which now is X cubed plus 3, and subtract 2, and then simplify it. Questions on this step here before I simplify it? Let me just repeat it. So we start with the inside out. I substituted the X to the third plus 3 in for the H of X. And then I'm taking the G of that. So in the G function, I'm putting the X cubed plus 3 in place of the X. That's what I did here. So now I simplify it. So I just distribute 4x to the third plus 12 minus 2. And that would give me 4x to the third plus 10. And that's my answer. Questions on that? Again, this is different, a little tricky. No? Okay. Okay, we're going to do number 3 next. We're going to find H composed of G of N. Where do we start? Inside or outside? Inside. So we are going to find H of 3n minus 1. I took the 3n minus 1, which is G, and I substituted it for the G of N. So now in the H function, it's 2n plus 2. So it's going to be 2 times 3n minus 1 plus 2. Questions on how I got that there? Is that making sense? Hayden? Makes sense? Okay. David, does that make sense? Okay, so now I need to distribute. I get 6n minus 2 plus 2. What does that simplify to? 6n. So that's my answer, 6n. Okay, now we're going to circle back to number 1. This one's a little harder. So we are doing f composed of g of x. So it's f of, what goes inside here? 4x minus 2, because that's what g of x is equal to. Does that make sense? Okay, so now we've got 2 places where we need to put this 4x minus 2. We put it in the first one, 4x minus 2 squared, and then minus 4 times 4x minus 2. So we had to put the 4x minus 2 here and here. So simplifying that 4x minus 2 squared, remember you have to write it as 4x minus 2 times 4x minus 2. You have to write it twice. We have nothing that allows us to distribute an exponent. So Nick, tell me what you get when you multiply those two.
16x squared. Negative 8x.
Yep.
Negative 8x. And then 4.
Good. So now we just want to simplify that. I'm going to simplify it down here. 16x squared minus 16x plus 4. And now I need to distribute this negative 4 into both of these here. So negative 4 times 4x would be negative 16x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. So now I simplify by adding my like terms, 16x squared minus 32x plus 12. Any questions on that? Okay, go ahead and do the you try. And I'll check, come around and check that. Okay, so see any notes down there? Okay. So you're taking this, start with g of x, so you write f of, and then in place of the g of x, you put what g of x is equal to. F parentheses. Yeah, and then put that there. Yep. Yep. So now you look at the f of x, and in place of your x, this is what you put.
In place of the x.
In place of this x. Yeah.
So we'll put x.
So it's negative 3.
Oh, sorry. So it's negative 3.
Uh-huh. What do we do with the negative 3 and all of this? What does it mean when a number is next to a letter? Yeah, so you're going to multiply it by all of that.
Oh, by all of this.
And have you do this?
Taking a look at this and this. So the 3x squared.
So write it down first, rather than just doing it in your head. So write down negative 3 times x squared minus 5 minus 2x. I can't go around and help every person. So in just a second, let me do the next part. So then this is, who was that? Oh, that's, so this is negative 3, and then it'd be a minus 3. So you just want to simplify that.
Okay.
Okay, good job. And help him if he needs some help. Thank you. How are we doing here? So you did it the other way around.
Oh.
You got to go inside out.
Oh.
You got to.
I was supposed to put these ones on these.
So you want to? You did it. Good, good. So, oh, you just forgot the square here.
I was supposed to put these into these X's as well.
So it's you're putting this into this x.
Okay. So we don't put anything on this X.
No, you're just taking all of that and putting it. Yeah, right. Yep. I'm going to look at your next step. So it's negative 3x, and then it goes outside the parentheses. Yeah, and then you simplify that. Good. Good, good first step.
I think you got it wrong.
I think you forgot to take the.
You got distribute. No.
Oh, 2x, 2x.
Yes.
Oh,
thank
my
you.
God.
Yeah, that's what happened. No, so so erase that second.
Lose
Yeah, go ahead, just fill out your name down and then put it over there. Somebody already has the task. You can go. Okay, so in front of, so you're taking, this is your g of x. You're taking this and you're putting it into this x.
So I don't have
So you
to put
put
an X in here? Or no?
You do. Yeah, so you put the -3 in front.
Right here?
Uh-huh. And then -3 here.
Here?
Yep.
Wow.
Because you're finding your f of, so we're starting with the g of x, so I'm substituting g of x, x squared, -5 minus 2x. I'm taking this and putting it in place of this x. So I took the -3 times that and then subtracted 3. Yes. Pardon me? Ask me later.
Did I write it down?
No. So you're doing f of this. So erase this part and then erase the square. Yes, Kaden, you did that right. Yes, yes. Can you help other people in your group? Because let's see.
Okay. So bad.
I'm not sure where you got 10x from. I like the 12. So this part here. Yeah. This. Okay, so all my other classes asked questions, but people in here did not. So I'm going to have to repeat. I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to have to give you another one. So g of x is this here. So I'm going to take f of this, f of x squared minus 5 minus 2x. So now I'm going to take this and put it into my f function where x is. So my x here is -3x minus 3. So I have -3 times this x squared minus 5 minus 2x minus 3. And then I simplify that. Questions on how I set that up? Because if you don't know how to set it up, you're not going to be able to do it. So once again, the g of x, I substituted in here. And then I put this here in where the x is, in the f of x. Okay, so you simplify that. And it simplifies to -3x squared plus 6x plus 12. Okay. If you're helping each other, great. If not, move on to this one. I want you to do this one now. So now do this one. Because it's going to get, there's going to be another step that we're going to have to do on the next one. And then I'll come around and check that. You're doing the one that's up there on the side. It's not on there because we needed another one. I think some people are scared of asking questions in here, and it's okay. Questions are okay. Yes, good, good. Thank you, Omar. What'd you get for that one? So once again, you're doing this problem right now. Thank you, those of you who have already started it. You just have a copier, so that's a -4 there. G of x is -4. The steps are right. That was just that -4. Let's see what you got. Supposed to be doing this problem here. So you don't want an x there. In place of x, you're putting 3x minus 2. Everything else looks great. You just, in place, that's substituting the 3x minus 2 for the x. And then you distribute. So thank you for helping each other. Questions on that? Okay. Okay, on to the next one. So now what's different? There's a number here. So on this one, we do this differently. We're going to find g of 9 first. We go inside. We're going to start and find g of 9. We need to know what that is. So g of 9 would be 9 squared minus 2. Does that make sense? Okay, so we get 81 minus 2, which is 79. So now this is where it's different. This is h composed of g of 9. So now we want to take the h of 79. That's what that notation means. So we're going to take the 79 and put it into the h function. So first I found my g of 9 inside out. Did that make sense how I found my g of 9, what I got there? So now I take that and I'm finding h of, this is 79. So now I take the 79 and I put it into my h function. So then that's going to be 79 plus 1, or 80. Okay, I'm going to do one more. So on number 6, where do I start? H of -5, inside out. So I find h of -5. And that is -5 squared minus 5. Remember, you need a parentheses there because you want to square the -5, not just the 5. So this gives us 25 minus 5, which is 20. What do I do with the 20? We're going to put it in the g function. So the 20 I replace with that. I replace this with the 20. So it's h of 20. G of 20, I mean. And then that's going to be 3 times 20 minus 5. And my answer is 55. Are you okay with just those 2 examples instead of doing the last one? Okay. So I'm going to have you, so technically you're supposed to do this with a composition function. So we're going to do h composed of f of x, and it should be f composed of h of x. So that would be h of the f function, which is 3x minus 3. And we're going to take the 3x minus 3 and put it into the h function. So that would be 1/3 times 3x minus 3 plus 1. Then we distribute, and we get 1/3 times 3x is just x. 1/3 times negative 3 is negative 1 plus 1. And what we get is just x. And there's a significance to that. I'll tell you that in a moment. So now we're going to find our f composed of h of x. And f composed of h of x is f of 1/3 x plus 1, which is 3 times 1/3 x plus 1 minus 3. So putting the 1/3 x plus 1 into the f function, we distribute the 3, we get 1x plus 3 minus 3, and then we get an answer of x. And so we got x on both of them, so that is a yes. We want to get an x there. That means that the two functions undo each other because they are inverses. That's what happens when they are inverses. So if you don't get x on both sides, or true statement, same thing on both sides, then it is a no. That's it.